Hey everyone, welcome back to the Independent Reporter, and today we're going to be looking at how the election has sort of shaped up for at least today, August 19th. So, as many of you probably know from watching the news, Hillary Clinton has a huge lead, and that lead was sustained a while ago from, the whole Trump comments. If you want to see exactly what happened there, just please um, take a look back into our previous videos. We've covered that, decently in detail. So, the way it's come out now, Hillary Clinton massive lead because Donald Trump shoots himself in the foot. Now, you may be asking, what happened to the email scandal? Well, that was huge, right? Well, it was huge, but apparently nothing is sticking, and that really comes down to the fact that Hillary Clinton has been essentially immune from it in the media. It's mainly because she is not giving speeches, or not so much giving speeches, but she's not really going out, talking to the media, answering a bunch of questions. There's more of go out, do one event, and then leave. And, this is exemplified by the fact that she only really does one event per day, whereas Donald Trump, even though he does one event per day, about that, maybe even less, it's usually an outspoken event covered by all media, whereas Hillary Clinton, really in person, not much in the media. So, it's the classic lay low game, and in this kind of election, it kind of makes sense, if the only way you can lose is if you say something stupider, why not just shut up? And that's a strategy that both sides could have used to benefit from it. Now, Trump, to give him some credit, honestly, he has kind of not been saying anything ridiculous since maybe not the past 9 days, really. The last big huge comments I remember from him saying was, the Second Amendment thing. And all that crap that he got accused of. Now, he did say stuff about Obama as the founder of ISIS and all that stuff, and that does hurt him quite a bit, but that one didn't stick as much. Really, I think both of them have played very silently over the past 9 days. The problem is, even though Hillary Clinton has a massive scandal that I think is honestly one of the biggest scandals in political history, that doesn't sound as good as, Trump incites violence, maybe someone needs to go kill Hillary Clinton. Like that kind of headline, it just that makes news, and that's really what's gotten with Donald Trump. The news is really pounding him, and as you can see here on screen, he's losing a lot of states. Now, it's not as worse as it's been before. I think every day it kind of switches, especially Georgia. Georgia's some days in the Democrats, some days in the Republicans, but it's very much a toss-up there. Arizona the same, but it's usually leaning Democrat. Nevada is already completely gone. But the important stuff, the stuff that Trump needs to win, Ohio, Florida, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia. I mean, realistically, he only needs to win a couple of them. Iowa as well. He only needs to win Ohio, Florida, Iowa, and North Carolina to win the election, and New Hampshire as well, of course, and Nevada. I mean, it seems like a lot, but still, he had substantial leads in all these, but they're gone now. A lot of these are 5% margins right now. Now, the way I looked at it before, when Trump had Florida, had Ohio, had North Carolina, and Nevada, he also had New Hampshire. And with having New Hampshire, that would have given them a tie, and he would have won with, the total amount of states, because the tiebreaker and stuff like that. So he would have won the election, very likely, if he kept those. And he can still claw it back. I mean, 5%, that's not huge. He can realistically, Clinton has a bad week, he's got a good week, it could change next week. Although it's been quite stable for the past while, realistically anything could change. But he's starting to really fall behind in some of these states. I mean, like I said, he only needs a couple of them that were within 5 points. New Hampshire was one of them, though, and New Hampshire now is a 9-point deficit, a 9-point lead for Hillary Clinton. So now it's looking like he's got a better chance of winning Virginia than New Hampshire, and that's starting to get problematic, because even though it's easier to claw back New Hampshire, being down 10 points in something and saying you need it to win, it's really demoralizing. So, what has Trump done about this? Well, like I said, he's kind of stayed out of the media, which, that's a decent thing to do. But he's also retooled his whole advisor staff. Now, he's kept Paul Manafort on as the head of his whole staff. However, he has decided to hire new assistants and new second in command, essentially creating new positions for them. I don't have any of their names on hand, but essentially a lot of these people are very successful businessmen, media people, which, I mean, getting media people, it's going to help, honestly. because of the whole fact that he's being targeted through media. That's what's really been his downfall, the media itself. Even though, early on in the election you were thinking, well, the media might help him. He gets a lot more coverage. Turns out now a lot of it's bad, very bad coverage. But the problem is the media moguls that he's not media moguls, but the media people he is getting, they are on, not really the conspiracy side of things, but on the we definitely hate people side of things. So, the assistant director, again, I forget the name of the company that he owned, but it would go on calling Hillary Clinton diseased and stuff like that. Instead of actual political arguments, it was like complete, just utter trash that you're throwing at a person, saying someone's diseased, don't vote for them. I mean, that's not a point, and it's so easy to just shoot that down. It doesn't appeal to most of the readers or most of the electorate. So when you really think about that, yes, it's good that Donald Trump is getting some media people on his campaign. The bad thing is these media people are not the people you want on your campaign. Like those bottom 5% or so of Donald Trump supporters who believe that Hillary Clinton is diseased, believe that she is like literally a spawn of the devil or something. They are here supporting Donald Trump, and they don't care. But for 95% of the rest of the United States, they're like, well, that's just literally crazy people talking. We are not going to listen to that. So personally, I question the effectiveness of this whole campaign retoolment, but it's good to at least see that he's trying to make something. Another thing that he's doing is walking back a lot of his statements, which, it might hurt him a little bit with the Republican base, but for the independents and those neutral voters, like I said in earlier videos, if he goes back to the middle of the United States, like the more moderate people, he's going to do better. So walking back his statements is going to hurt his, legitimacy among some diehard Republicans, or diehard Trump fans, I should say. But I don't think it's actually going to hurt him, because those diehard people might be a little bit ticked off at him, but they're still going to vote for him. Whereas the people in the middle are going to be like, well, he's showing that he's a human, he's making mistakes, and he's apologizing, so that's something. But, with everything that he walks back, there's always, well, I guess with every two things he walks back, one of them he re-walks back, and it's very complicated, and sounds kind of ridiculous, but a good example is the Obama is the founder of ISIS thing. When he said that, he got accused by a lot of people for saying that, and then he's like, well, it's sarcasm. Now, I don't want to get too much into the whole sarcasm thing with Donald Trump, but a lot of the time he is using sarcasm. When he says Obama is the founder of ISIS, I can understand what he means. He's saying that Obama created ISIS essentially because of the foreign policy. I mean, it's very extreme and very simplistic way of saying it, but it's something you might find on a super radical thing, or, on an internet meme. Something that you don't have time to explain, you just throw it out there, and you can kind of be like, well, yeah, I kind of understand it. So the problem with that is when he was asked by many people in the news, I think it was CNN, in an interview, he was asked, well, no, it was Fox News. He was asked, well, is this because Obama was, he created a vacuum for power in Syria and Iraq, mainly Iraq, and all that stuff. So he gave him the reasoning that I just used. And the problem was that Donald Trump was like, well, I wasn't being that joking. I wasn't that sarcastic about it. So, again, like, you don't know what he's going to walk back to get more votes, and you don't know what he's going to, just flat out lie about. And that was one of the instances, how can you be sarcastic but not that sarcastic? I could understand if it's like, well, do you really mean it? And it's like, well, I'm not being that sarcastic, because, you can sort of fault someone like Obama or anyone in foreign policy for the United States for ISIS. So you can say, well, it's not that sarcastic. But when they're trying to explain why someone would say that it's not that sarcastic, and Trump's still like, no, I'm a little bit more serious than that, there becomes a problem there. So a very long way of saying Donald Trump, he's trying to walk back to the middle a little bit by redacting a lot of his stuff, but he still is staying quite hard on some other issues. So, I don't expect that he's going to fix everything this week. Honestly, I think if he continues his path, it's going to be a long, slow rebuild and retooling. Maybe it will help him, but I don't see any dramatic changes. So my prediction for the next week or so, Hillary Clinton will stay in the lead. Again, he can continue nailing her with the whole email scandal and continue to fix up his campaign, you might see some of these races go back. Like, I do fully expect Arizona to go Republican, Georgia to go Republican, maybe something like Nevada to go a little bit more equal, Iowa, stuff like that. But I don't expect to see, Ohio, Florida, North Carolina, stuff like that. I don't expect those, true swing states. I don't expect them to go Republican anytime soon until Trump makes massive changes. But that's gonna take time, and I think we need to wait for the debates. But I'll try to keep giving you guys updates every now and then, showing how things are. This site again, I will show you, some of the things here. Donald Trump has a 13.6% chance of winning, so Clinton obviously very high up there. Johnson still extremely low. I think it's realistic to say he's got no chance because he can't win every single state or something like that. In terms of electoral college, he's got no hope. But in terms of the actual polling, it gets a lot more interesting. So if we just scroll down here to the actual popular vote, we see here that Clinton. By the way, all these stats are like a combination of all the polls and adjusted for bias and all that stuff. So Clinton generally has about 49% of the whole electorate, whereas Trump's got just over 41%. So Clinton's got a 7.6% lead, essentially. But the big thing is Johnson still has 8.4%. And this is, again, without Jill Stein. And a lot of the Jill Stein voters, I'm willing to say all of the Jill Stein voters are Clinton supporters. So, if you put her vote in here and people are polling her about 4%, I honestly think that Trump, he's not behind by a lot. I mean, knock 4% off Clinton, it's down to a 3-point race. And a lot of these areas, such as Ohio, Florida, if you knock 4%, which I think is extremely high for those areas, I think you'll see the biggest Jill Stein support in California, New York. But if you do have areas like Florida, Ohio, and still 3-4% are going to Jill Stein, I think that, that Hillary Clinton lead it's not going to stay there for much longer. And if Trump can retool, he's got a chance. But on the complete other side of this, I don't want to sound too much Donald Trump supporting here. I want to make it clear that I don't support Trump or Clinton. And I'm covering Trump so much because, it's Donald Trump. It's fun to cover. So just based off a media point, we want to see Trump do a little bit better because there's more stuff to talk about. But if we look up, for example, in Texas, Texas, you may have noticed, was not the reddest state here. Now, Texas, I understand, it's not the heart of the Republicans. It's not where, 99% of the people are going to be Republicans, like somewhere in Alabama or Wyoming or Idaho. I don't mean 99%, but, a very high percentage. Texas, in fact, is very important to the Republicans because it has so many electoral votes. You can see scrolling down here. If we go by actual votes in terms of the Electoral College, Texas is the biggest Republican one left. And you see there's other ones like Arizona, Georgia. They're huge chunks, well, not huge, but very big chunks as well. And they're leaning possibly Democrat. So if you lose Texas, I mean, you're talking about a massive, massive sweep of the Electoral College and possibly a supermajority for the Democrats. So when we're talking about Donald Trump maybe gaining up, if he gains like 4 or 5%, if we look into Texas here, even though Trump's got a 78% chance of winning Texas right now, he's only got a 6-point lead in Texas. So if Trump continues to slide, which he has stabilized, but if he does make another slide, Trump could potentially lose states like Texas, which would give Hillary Clinton a massive lead. So if you're on the Hillary Clinton side, again, Hillary Clinton, she's not making massive strides to win Texas. She's not doing all that stuff, but she is going around to different states, making the required visits and stuff like that. It's the stay out of the media thing, like I've said. And that's not going to win you a bunch of points of support. But in this election, that's kind of what you need to do. But if Clinton does, step up the attack ads in Texas, show that, she is a Southern Democrat, which, being not from New York, but being a New York Democrat, New York Senator, it's going to be hard to prove, but, she is originally from the South. If she can put up a little bit of pressure in areas like Texas, I think that once Texas shows that it might go blue, I think that might be the crippling point for Donald Trump. If everyone around the country sees that the massive majority of people are truly going to the Democrats, I think the Republican Party will, cut funding out from Donald Trump and focus on getting the Senate back, and just kind of give up on this general election. So Clinton, in terms of her locking this up, in August, we're talking about, because I fully expect in the debates it's going to be like a free-for-all, it's going to be a reset. I think that if Clinton needs to 100% guarantee a win, she's got to do this by the end of August. Trump, there's no way he can 100% guarantee a win. He could always, on the last day, say something completely amazing and, destroy his whole campaign. But with Hillary Clinton, if she continues to press up in some of these hardline Republican areas like Texas, like Georgia, like Arizona, if she can continue to get leads there and, win Texas or show a huge lead, I think that you'll likely see Donald Trump losing all support and, being kind of kicked out of the party. Well, not kicked out of the party, but kicked out of support. He's had run-ins with Paul Ryan, John McCain, so it wouldn't be the hardest, thing to sever. So Hillary Clinton right now, even though she is completely on the hideaway game to just conserve a lead, if she does go on the offensive, there is a decent chance that she could knock Trump out right now. So I would say look for 3 things in the coming week or 2. Watch for Hillary Clinton to move on the attack. If she does, it's bad news for Trump. Watch for Trump to try to retool to go towards the middle, appeal to those independents, appeal to those moderates, because then that means he's back in this. Or just, watch for nothing to happen. If you see nothing happening, then, it's going to really come down to the debates. But again, if nothing happens, it's going to be like a race to the bottom again. If Hillary Clinton can't improve her numbers and Donald Trump can't do it either, people will get tired. And that's kind of the fatigue that's setting in right now. A lot of people don't really care. And that's why stuff like this Hillary Clinton scandal, it's not sticking because no one cares anymore. So again, just it's still, the race is not over, definitely not over, especially with someone like Johnson who's got 7.3%. That is more than the difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. We don't know what percentage of that is Republicans or Democrats, but this race still can go anywhere. Anyway, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this. Highly suggest you check out other videos on our channel, such as Hillary Clinton scandal, or check past updates, see how this election's been going on. Also check out project570.com, link in the description. It's a really good website in order to check, what polls are accurate, and check, the whole feeling, because people always say, oh, the polls can be inaccurate. Well, the polls of all the polls, that's going to be a lot more accurate. So, you can get a lot more people involved in the whole polling system. So, again, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you subscribe. Hope you like, share, comment. All that good stuff helps us out. And take care.